are not safe in child protective services, and they won't give them back to their loving families because they're making money.
This is a legal system that you're going into. And if you don't know the rules, you will be chewed up and spit out.
If I could say anything to a mother who just got their children detained, you're in a crisis. Yeah. Life feels like it's over. The most important thing is regaining custody of your children.
The child welfare system at its core is designed to protect children who need protection, okay? And that's key, is who need protection.
So social workers, out of fear, will remove more children rather than only remove those children that truly need to be removed.
It's okay. It's okay.
This isn't someone stole your car. Someone broke into your house. This someone took your child, your flesh and blood.
It doesn't say on this order that it was not proven. It says untrue. True. I immediately knew that, okay, well, this ain't over.
Were there signs there? Were there no signs? Did I miss them? Did I catch them? At this point, I honestly don't know.
Families only get a finite amount of time to reunify.
I came into this field to help families, not destroy them.
The difference between the criminal system and the child welfare system is substantial. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Georgette Truan. I am the co-host for Relatives Fight CPS, and I also work for the law office of Vincent Davis. We have two guests tonight, Mr. Ramiro Guerra and Miss Attorney Jennifer Annie. That's my girl. She works for the law office of Vincent Davis as well. And she's an amazing attorney. And I'm not saying that because I love her to death. She's an amazing person, amazing attorney. Jennifer, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Ani. I've been practicing child welfare law for about 20 years, and I am a specialist in the field. Happy to be here tonight.
You sure are a specialist in the field. You're amazing. Thank you for joining us, Jennifer. Ramiro, go ahead and please share with us. You know, I know you're the grandfather in the case. Go ahead and share with us your story, please.
I had court this past December, and I had my son on the other line to clear some allegations that were presented against me a long time ago. And I'm fighting for my granddaughter, and the judge refused to put him on. She refused to listen to him. My attorney is doing everything he can. These allegations are not true, and this happened 13 years ago. My little boy was 12 years old. He's a grown man now. He's married. He's got his own daughter. He wants to testify that, you know, those allegations that I had showed him porn are not true.
Oh my God.
And they won't let him. Yeah, the judge won't let him. So here I am trying to fight for my granddaughter. She's with the father's mother right now. And he's not actually the father. He's the not actually the biological father. I ordered a DNA. She refused. The judge refused all of that. You know, she's just, everything that I do or say, she's just moving it to the side. I mean, I don't know. It's very stressful. I mean, we've been with this since last year, or like 6 months ago, and now having court again on March. It's very stressful, not to see my granddaughter, which I had her here all the time. And my daughter's the one that got in trouble. So, yes.
So basically, you had your granddaughter with you since birth.
I had both of them here at the house since birth. But my daughter got in trouble, and yeah.
So what did the CPS, basically, what did they say? Did they say you cannot see your granddaughter?
At the courtroom, CPS still says that they just bring up those allegations, so I'm more sure that I can't see my granddaughter. So I haven't seen her. Even though my attorney ordered a home study on my home, they didn't do it. My attorney is he's just totally freaking out with everything, like the way it's being handled.
Did you hire a family law attorney, or did you hire a juvenile dependency attorney?
I hired a juvenile, a CPS attorney out of Corpus Christi, Texas. And the judge is just being very hard on me. So, these allegations are not true. My son, my son's on the other line, trying to testify, and she just she won't put him on.
How old is your son?
He's 23 years old.
Wow. Jennifer, do you have
he's
anything
married
to
and
add to
everything.
this, Jennifer?
Well, so when did the allegations first come around? When were they first known, and what happened? How'd they come about?
He was 12. He was 12 years old.
Yeah.
When those allegations came.
Who made the
my
allegations? I'm sorry. Who made the allegations?
My brother.
Okay, and who
That's
did your
who we
brother
want
make
to
the
testify.
allegations to? Who did your brother make the allegations to?
He told my son to say that, and he's at the time my brother was a juvenile officer, and he's my half brother. We don't like each other, me and that family. He comes from a different family from my dad's first marriage, and we just don't like each other. And I always thought it was my wife, that told my son to say that. My son tells me now, he's grown up, and we barely started talking about maybe 6 months ago. Me and my son, after this happened, we barely started talking. And he told me, "No, Dad." He goes, "It was."
So let me ask another question. So my understanding is that you had about 10 years pass that you didn't talk to your son. Is that because he was removed for these allegations?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when he was 12, he was removed from you because of your stepbrothers or your half brothers allegations that you showed him child pornography. Any other allegations that he made?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. So what are you looking for now? Why are you fighting for your granddaughter now?
My daughter got in trouble, and I'm trying to see if I can get her, my granddaughter, at least temporary custody.
What happened with your daughter?
She got caught. Her and the baby daddy, got caught smuggling.
Okay.
Illegal.
Okay.
And they got in trouble. So that's why I'm fighting for my granddaughter. And I've had him here. So
I mean, I
it's
think
been a while. I haven't seen my granddaughter.
yeah, no, I think the problem is that the allegations that were made, 10 years ago, those seem like they were found true, obviously. And so, if the court is going on that, that is a problem. Did you have any ramifications in criminal law because of the allegations?
No.
And where did your son live for those 10 years?
He lived with his mom.
Okay. And are you on
he
good
lived
terms
with his
with the
mom,
mother?
and
Are you on?
we haven't spoken. We haven't
Okay.
spoken in good time. Me and the mother. But I pay
because
all
maybe
my child support.
Yep. Gee, this is a
Put
tough one for
insurance on my
sure.
kids, but yeah, well, I always thought it was the mom that told my son to say that, because usually when people get divorced and stuff, there's always fighting, and I always thought it was the mom, but it was my half brother, and he was a juvenile officer, and he
Wow.
scared my son. He was 12 years old, and my brother took an oath, but this is the corruption that goes on in Jim County.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it goes
terrible out here.
everywhere, that's for sure.
Everywhere, baby. Everywhere. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
Well,
Jennifer,
hopefully,
his son is willing to testify, right? Why can the judge allow his 23-year-old son to testify that everything that was told to him or about his dad when he was younger, that it's all false?
Well, because it's been 10 years and because the records were made, and he should be allowed to testify, but the weight as far as what the court would give it probably isn't very much, because the court has sustained allegations and the child was actually removed, for that long. So as far as the court is concerned, that's kind of a done deal, and that's that's the end of it. It's be very difficult to change that fact. That's not to say you couldn't have testimony saying that everything in the last 10 years has been great or whatever, and that wasn't that really didn't happen, that there were lies. But I mean, it is definitely a hard fight for sure. It was a terrible thing that he could have done.
But the allegations, but isn't the allegation against the father being false, and he couldn't justify it all this time, right?
Well, let me ask this. During the initial proceeding where they removed your son for that long time, how come you didn't get the allegation dealt with there? You didn't have a chance to, or what happened there?
I didn't have an attorney.
Uh-huh.
And CPS attorney told me to sign the papers, and I just relinquished my rights to my son.
Huh. Okay.
I didn't have an attorney.
Okay. I don't have any ideas, unfortunately, for that. That's a really tough one.
Let me ask you a question, Jennifer. I know you've been on a lot of cases that I know of. When it comes to CPS cases, when it's closed, when the case is done, closed, and what have you, do the parents have to reopen the case back if they have new evidence to clear their name, or they have to go through family law?
So all these things are time limited. And so they need to be taken care of at the time they're raised. That's the only time you can really fight allegations in juvenile court.
So you can't revisit it in family law?
Not really, not successfully, no.
Right. So when you go back to family law, you have to just show changes of circumstances.
Correct.
To make any changes.
Correct.
Now, what if the family law judge and the opposing person, you know, the other party in the matter, brings out the past of CPS case, and then the judge goes along with it and not reunify the children with the other parent?
I mean, that's what's happening here, right? So, I mean, the findings that are made in juvenile court are very tough to overcome in family court. So you really want to fight them in the juvenile court, you know, if that's where if you have allegations against you in juvenile court, you need to take care of them in juvenile court.
But even if the case is closed and it's been years?
Well, I mean, that record's going to stay around forever. And the only thing you could do is possibly try to do it in family court. But, you know, it's an uphill battle because the sustained allegations that were found true in the juvenile court count as true in family court too. Did that make sense?
No, it doesn't make sense because we all know CPS are corrupt. We all know this. And we know that CPS lies in reports and make up stories, okay, all day long. So why would a family law judge hold that against, right, the parent trying to fight to be able to see their children? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense because if the case is long, 10 years old, for example, right? Why would family law judge hold that against the parent without even looking at the case to see the facts, right, and evidence that is really contradicting what CPS wrote down in the reports?
Well, because it's like if you get, you know, convicted of a crime and, you know, you're sentenced, you can't go back and say that didn't really happen that way. The time to fight these allegations is when they're happening. And, you know, you need to put all the effort into the juvenile court because they will follow you around. That's just, I mean, it's not just juvenile law, it's also criminal law, right?
Right. Right. There's nothing about the law that makes sense. I'm being honest.
That's true.
Nothing about it makes sense. There is no justice. And I've learned that the hard way. There is no justice. There is, I believe, like, honestly, the abuser gets away with it in juvenile courts and in family law.
Yep.
The abusers are the ones that actually get the children.
Yep. A lot of times that's true, and it's not fair.
No, it's not fair, and it's not right. So basically, oh my God. Yeah, it's not right. And especially if, can his son, like Romero's son, can he go to court in family law court? Can he, I don't know, petition them?
Well, so it sounds like the issue is that he's not being allowed to care for his granddaughter because they looked him up to do a check on him to see if they could place him there, and he's got this, you know, history. He's probably reported to the Texas equivalent of CACI, which is the, you know, child abuse registry. And so, you know, no, there's really no way to challenge that because you have to challenge CACI at the time you're put on CACI within 30 days. And that was 10 years ago.
What if he didn't know that they put you on CACI? There's a lot of times.
Yeah, if you don't know, that's an exception. If you don't know, that's an exception. And, you know, if you didn't get anything in writing saying that you're on CACI, then, you know, you still have that from the time that you learn that you're on CACI, you have 30 days to ask for a grievance hearing.
And if you didn't know and say 10 years passed, then what?
Nothing you can do.
Oh, wow. So there's nothing you can do. Wow. Okay. That just blows my mind. How do you feel about that, Romero? I mean, it just blows my mind, man. I know you have a lot to say because you and I spoke, like I said, last year, and I can't process this. I can't process this.
Well, my attorney says he looked at my case and my son's case, and he says that it wasn't an abusive case. he looked at it and it's nothing like that. And just the allegations that I had shown my son porn. That's it.
And you know what's so sad? God, the abusers that, cases like with firefighters who are, a firefighter who's got custody of the children. One of our clients' case, and when he got divorced from his wife in family court, right? He made sure that he was involved with a district attorney who then became a judge, right? Throughout his marriage. So that woman helped him take the children from the mother. However, because he's a firefighter, LA City, in fact, he would watch porn holding his baby, stuff like that, and that used to worry the mother. However, he was never found guilty. And even several psychiatrists said that the kid should be returned to the mother immediately and he should be investigated. Juvenile court ignored it, right? Ignored the psychiatrist reports twice and still give him custody of the children. By the way, the mother had no record. So what I have noticed in the system is that the guilty is innocent in the court, but the innocent is guilty.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much.
Yeah, so there is no justice. And Laura, for example, she said, amen, it's so not right. Why is this going on in America? Why isn't there due process in juvenile courts? And this really hit home in my heart, because one of our clients today, the therapist asked her, what would your advice be for parents that has children, removed from them? Her advice, our client's advice, she said, I advise, don't raise your children in a country that is immoral and that has financial benefits in destroying families. That's what she told the therapist. She said, I advise to all women, don't raise your children in a country that is immoral and that has financial benefits in destroying families. And that is correct. I actually had to print this out when she sent me this text. And I said, baby girl, you hit it right in the spot. Because this country, America, I'm in my mid-50s and I can't believe that this happens in America. They say, oh, freedom of speech, freedom of choice, freedom of this, but yet they steal children from parents who have a picture of Jesus in their home, or if they have a cross in their home, and the social workers actually write that down on paper. She wrote down on paper that the mother has Jesus pictures and a cross at the house. What does that have to do with the children? It's gonna make it look like God said to hurt children, or the Bible says to kill children, or to molest children. It doesn't say anything like this. God is about love. It's all love. And false allegations, anybody can just make allegations, Romero. You know this, right? Anybody can just make allegations. It could come from your brother, your sister, your next door neighbor. It could come from your aunt because she hates your wife, whatever the case may be. But they're called allegations, never proven facts, and the judges look at it as it's proven, even though it was not proven. And the same thing with the woman I'm talking about with the firefighter ex-husband. Same thing. No proven, right, facts. However, they believe the abuser. And whatever the abuser says to the judge and to the social workers are facts. Does that make sense?
No.
They turn it into facts, which is not really facts. It's hearsay. That's all it is Okay. And they actually violate your rights and your due process when they stop you from defending yourself in court. They stop you from speaking the truth. And even if you show them evidence of the truth, right, they still believe the lie that's written down in the reports. And I believe that's what happened in your case too, Romero. No matter
Yep.
what you showed them, they still believe the lies of the workers on the X. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Jennifer, are you still with us?
Yes, I am. How did this case come about? Oh, never mind. Your daughter needed some help. So are you allowed to visit your granddaughter?
They haven't told me anything that I couldn't. But it hasn't been mentioned.
Because
CPS
there's two parts to,
since they didn't want to do it.
I mean, there's two parts to getting placement, and one of those is establishing that you have a relationship with the child that you're seeking placement over. So, you'd be wise to utilize any visitation time that you might have, even if it's supervised.
No, they didn't mention nothing like that. I don't think since I have these allegations, I don't think I can. I haven't asked my attorney either. If if I could, I have seen my granddaughter like on the phone. I think today I saw her earlier, but just on the phone. She like on Zoom, and she's okay, but I haven't seen her physically, personally, since all of this. The judge said one thing, and then she just turns around and says another.
Right.
I'm just me and my attorney talk about it. How she said that the home study, to do a home study and all that stuff, and then CPS, said no, that they didn't do the home study because these allegations, and so I put my son, to tell him the truth, what had happened those years, and the judge doesn't want, she blocked us on Zoom.
And what would he say?
So
if he were to testify? If he were to testify, what would he say?
He wanted to say it wasn't true. It was my brother. My brother, half brother, told him to say that, and he got removed from us, from me and my ex-wife, and so he wanted to. He wants to make it right. He wants to. He thinks that he owes me an apology, and he's been angry at me all these years because he says that I never came back for him, and well, he was put in my ex-wife's family, a home with my ex-wife's family.
Right.
So, but he understands now as he's grown. I visited him maybe about 3 months ago. He lives very far away from me, from where I live. And we talked, and I got to hold my granddaughter, and he's doing okay. But I just think, the truth is right there, and he wants to say it, and the judge doesn't want to put him on. There's something wrong with that.
Right. Yeah, I'd agree.
Wow, this is crazy. Jennifer, there's a question for you.
What's that?
It says, so Jennifer, how can you change the status quo, right, in CPS if you people keep telling parents who were falsely accused there's nothing you can do, but there There is, which means it's a violation of constitutional fundamental rights, and that's a federal crime. Family court judges and Dcfs should be held accountable for kidnapping and illegally adopting children. I guess that's what she meant to say. Illegal adoptions. Family courts should be held to be proven like criminals do.
Well, so that's an interesting question, because I think what my answer was earlier to this situation was that, not that you don't deal with it, but you have to deal with that at the time that it comes about in order to have the most success in resolving the issue. And I certainly am not, saying not to deal with it, but as far as there being a practical solution, there isn't one. And just like, when somebody is, so basically, this grandfather was found by the court by a preponderance, because the standard's lower in juvenile, to have done, this probably contributing to the delinquency of a minor, they probably called it. And so when, and so the child was removed and he didn't reunify, and then, come 10 years later, when he needs to provide a placement for his granddaughter, he's not allowed to do so because of the prior issue in dependency court. And there's just no adequate way under the law right now to go around and address that. And it should have been done at the time that it occurred, just like any other crime. You can't come back after you've been convicted of a crime and say that you haven't done it. But remember, being convicted of a crime, you have the benefit of having beyond a reasonable doubt. In juvenile court, they find allegations true by a mere preponderance, or 50%, 51%. So it's, it's a very terrible system. What is the solution? Probably blow up the system and start over.
Holy God. That sounds like, okay, yeah, that sounds like a nice solution. I wish I can have a time machine and go back in time. All right. So Laura also said, even whenever you try to resolve it in current present time, they still make it hard, pretty much impossible to do. And she's right.
Oh yeah, no question. And I know, as an attorney for parents, all I can do is try, and but it's a very nebulous area of law and very dangerous. Social workers are not your friend.
Oh no. And I keep telling people that, and they actually think, what really bothers me, Jennifer, is that the people that I speak with daily, they say, oh, Georgette, my mother suggested that I be nice to the social worker and do everything they say, and they're going to give me my kids. And I tell them that has nothing to do with you getting your kids back. Because the social worker, once she goes to your home, they already know where they're going to place that child. They know where they're going to place the child before they remove the child. So oftentimes people think they should take advice from their family, which they are not attorneys, right? Oftentimes they take advice from their friends who are not attorneys as well. And then they get in trouble with the advice that they're getting, and then they call us for help. What do you suggest to people that have CPS coming after them for a CPS investigation case?
Well, every scenario is different, but the first thing you want to do is get a very good attorney, not a court-appointed attorney. Court-appointed attorneys generally are going to just process the case. They're not going to, there's no motivation for them to do anything outside the minimal things that they can do. Their life is going to go on whether they fight hard or whether they don't fight hard, whether they know the law, whether they don't know the law. And, that's a very dangerous place to be, because, you want to get your evidence in front of the court, and you want to be able to fight allegations that aren't true, and, get a result that is going to be in everyone's best interest, especially the child. Who do you listen to? Your attorney.
Not the court-appointed one, please.
Correct.
Yep. And also,
actually, I think the court-appointed attorneys in our courtroom, they're doing so much better than my hired attorney.
Oh wow.
So I don't know about that.
Well, I can only speak for California, so.
I doubt it.
Okay.
I doubt it, Romero. I doubt it. You're just being silly right now. There's no way. No way. You're laughing because it's not right. There is no way. He's being silly. So I have a question, Jennifer. When oftentimes when the CPS attorney, I mean, when the social workers go to the home without a court order, right? And the mother tells them, you know what, I'm not going to let you in if you don't have a court order.
A warrant. Yeah.
I'm sorry, a court warrant. Like not well, is it a court order, right, to come to the house?
No, they can go to the house. So and what they can't do is come inside your door if you don't allow them to, unless they have a warrant.
A warrant, right?
And they need to show you the warrant.
Mm-hmm.
And a parent should walk outside, leave the kids inside, walk outside on the porch, shut the door so that they can't get in. They will try and scoot around you, and if they get in, they'll say that you gave consent. So you have to actually affirmatively tell them, I'm not letting you in the house, but I'm going to come talk to you on the porch here. And then you can read the warrant and say, let me go call my attorney and I'll get right back to you.
That's a good advice. Now, when they want to come and take your child without a court order,
well, that's illegal unless there's an emergency.
There's always an emergency with them, Jennifer. Okay, there's always an emergency.
Well, sometimes there are. I mean, sometimes there are real emergencies, right? So, sometimes there are. The problem is that they don't have any ability to discern or differentiate between real emergencies and non-emergencies, and they've got incentive to make emergencies out of nothing.
There you go. You said it all. That's perfect. That's well said. When they bring the police without a court order and a warrant, for example, and can the police force themselves in the house because they have the police with them?
Unless if they think that you are harboring a fugitive, or that you are passed out and nobody's there to take care of the child, that's one thing. But no, they can't just barge their way in. I mean, it's you have a right to be secure in your home.
Wow.
Can I ask you guys, what about the children? Like my son, he was placed in another home. They made him take pills. CPS said that he was, I guess, bipolar at the time.
Wow.
He's not on no medication right now anymore. He's a grown man, but CPS, does that, to control the child, put him on pills. I think that is very bad. It was done to my son.
Yeah.
So
they do medicate children, Jennifer. You know this, right? Yeah. Medicate children.
Yes, I know that.
To keep them quiet. Not that, I mean, they diagnose a 7-year-old with bipolar. Medically, you cannot diagnose bipolar on a 7-year-old. You can't diagnose them until they're like maybe 18 or 17, something like that, but not 7. And the child reacts the way they react when you steal them from their parents. You're stealing the child. Yes. So the child is going to behave angry, upset, resenting everybody around him or her. Why? Because what you've done. So CPS is the one that creates the trauma in the children's hearts and life. They're the ones who create this. They're the ones who make it happen. Not the parent, it's them. But they don't take accountability for their own demonic actions. They just refuse to see what they're doing to families, because all they care about is the incentive that they get. It's all about money. That's all they care about, period. There's really nothing else to add on that. We have another one, Jennifer. She said that Jennifer Ann said, then those court-appointed attorney then needs to be held accountable for their actions of doing minimal work and give cruel and unusual torture to parents and children.
Absolutely. I mean, that I don't know. I never understand why complaints aren't made about court-appointed attorneys. I don't know whether parents don't understand that they can do that or what. But I mean, you've got to make complaints, or that'll never change.
Right. So this also Laura Taylor said she even offered $4,000 to her court-appointed attorney to help her, right,
Well,
to get
yeah,
her
they
case
can't
back.
accept that.
Right, but he told her I already get paid, so he's
Yeah.
working. He's already working. That's what people don't understand. They get paid, not from you, but they get paid to do minimal work.
Yeah.
Like Jennifer has to bust her butt. Like seriously, and this woman works until like after 1 o'clock in the morning on cases. And I know this because I call her almost every day or every other day. And she's like, I'm working on this case until 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. That's what attorneys do, good attorneys. But the court pretenders who are court appointed attorneys, they don't give a monkey's ass about you. So they're just going there to show up and say, okay, Your Honor, okay, see you next month, see you in 2 months, see you in 3 years, whatever. They don't care. That's why when you give them evidence to submit that in court, they don't want to do it. Every court-appointed attorney tell their clients, nope, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And I'm telling you from every person I spoke with, and I know this to be 100% true. A good attorney will work hard on your case. And I told him this, Jennifer, I think Mr. Davis mentioned this several times, and I'm sure he mentioned this to you as well. Every good attorney has to have a strategy to win a case. What do you think about that?
For sure. Yeah. If you don't have a strategy, you're not going anywhere. That's for sure.
Exactly. And in order for an attorney to review the case, to come up with the strategy, they have to review the case.
Correct.
Don't expect the attorney just to listen to you, to what your story is, and expect that attorney to come up with the strategy based on what you're saying. It's always about what the social worker's lies written in the report. The attorney's job is to reverse it, right? To make a dynamic change. Yeah. That's what a good attorney does. And oftentimes people think attorneys should work for free. No. Good attorneys that spend their time and effort and hours that also have responsibility at home to pay their bills, just like we all do. Oftentimes people say, well, you fight for children, but you don't want to help us for free. However, those people are the same people that will not go to work for free either. So other people come up with ways to get an attorney to help them. Because the state already provides you guys with a court pretender, which is a court-appointed attorney. Guess what? They're pro bono for you, but they get paid. You're not paying them, but they get paid. So they're not going to help you. They're going to do very minimal job for you. That's it. They're going to show up. They're going to say, yes, Your Honor, or okay, Your Honor, or no, Your Honor. That's it. That's the only words that will come out of their mouth. And maybe check their calendar for the next court hearing. That's pretty much it. So people understand that you need to do everything you can. Families, you get your family and friends together to help with a retainer. And the best time to hire an attorney is when you're dealing with a CPS case, investigation case. The investigation is very important because that's when, for example, if Jennifer is your attorney, she will make every move to make sure the child or the children are not removed from the home. During the investigation phase is very important. That's why Mr. Davis says do not speak to the social workers without an attorney. Hire an attorney and have the attorney deal with the social workers. And believe you and me, they don't want to deal with our office. 100% telling you the God honest truth. They don't want to deal with our office. Jennifer Ann said, what kind of attorney do you need to fight Dcfs? You need a juvenile dependency attorney, not family law.
Right.
Okay. Jennifer Ann also asked, how do you report a regional council lawyer? I don't know what that means, Jennifer.
There should be a proceeding. You ask somebody at the courtroom how you make a complaint. And in California, you can ask for what's called a Marsden hearing. Which is where you go in and you ask the court for a different attorney and you explain that you're not getting effective assistance of counsel. Every parent has a right to effective assistance of counsel.
Wow. Okay, so Jennifer Ann also asked, can lawyers in California fight in Florida? Well, all I can tell you is this: Mr. Davis does go out of state and fight cases. However, there's a pro hoc vici that has to be sent to the court. The attorney in that state has to swear in Mr. Davis, for example. If he goes to Florida, he has to be sworn in that state, in that courthouse, to represent you in the state of Florida. That's how it works. Am I right, Jennifer, or you don't?
Yeah. I've appeared in I appeared in Massachusetts and Kansas and North Carolina, and you have an anchor attorney that is from that state that vouches for you, and you can practice, but it's only a one-off. You can't do it a lot.
I didn't hear the last part. Jennifer. Okay. Okay, so Virginia said, hi, I need some advice on my case. Virginia, you need to call your office, honey, and have them ask for me, ask for Georgette, and I'll be able to hear about your case and do as much as you can. If you have a question for Jennifer, you can go ahead and write your question down in the comment section. Aisha said, are there fees to have attorneys sworn in? Yes, there is fees. Aisha, there's fees when it comes to anything pertaining to to court cases. Everything there's a fee to. Okay. There's a fee for attorneys to show up. That's why the retainers are pretty high, because everything requires money. To file your case is money. To book a hearing is money. To show up in court is money. Everything is money because you have to pay that attorney that's going to swear that attorney in. I mean, they get paid for their services. That's how attorneys get paid. They don't work from 9 to 5. Completely different than a corporation. Laura said, I'm in Georgia where the corruption is so bad. Senator Nancy Schumer got murdered.
Schaefer,
not Schumer. Nancy Schaefer, she was a senator for Georgia.
Yep.
And she was, she actually exposed CPS, that is correct. And she exposed Bill Clinton. And she lost her life for it. And God bless her soul.
Yep.
Georgia is corrupt, honey. Every state in the United States is corrupt. Okay? There is not one state that's actually free of corruption. So what was I gonna say? There was a question here about money. So she was asking, are there fees to have an attorney? Aisha Maxine asked if there's fees to have an attorney sworn in, and I said yes, Jennifer, there is a fee because you have to pay that attorney to swear you in. Am I correct?
There's an administrative fee that the pro hoc vice attorney is charged as well.
Correct. That is correct. I was just letting them know that when it comes to legal matters, there's fees for everything, and that attorneys work per case per case. Am I correct?
Yeah. I mean, everything costs money,
Yeah,
exactly. Unfortunately. It's too bad because it's unfair, but it's just not, that we don't, that's the way that people make a living, and we have to do that,
Exactly. Because nobody would work. I mean, there's definitely, like, say if Jennifer, I mean, Mr. Davis, I am not going to tell Mr. Davis, I'm not going to get paid for 5 years, Mr. Davis, I'm not going to even offer that because I have to pay my bills. So you also have to consider that attorneys also have to pay their bills. They have responsibilities. They do. Just like you have responsibilities. So Jennifer Ann asks, is it illegal to find your and children, I guess your children personal pictures on the child net website? So she's asking if it's illegal to find your children personal pictures on child net website.
I think that there is, when they're trying to put them into foster care, I think that they can get a court order that they can put a photo of the child on that network. But if it depends on what stage of the game you're at. If the game, if you're new, no, you can't do that. Depends on whether or not they've been freed for adoption.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Virginia said, it was supervisor. I have done everything they asked and I have my proof. I have so much Dcfs. I can't get these questions in order. I'm sorry. Hold on, Jennifer.
Okay.
So Jennifer Ann said it was personal pictures I took, but I didn't give them permission. So basically, it's personal pictures that she took, Jennifer, but she did not give them.
Well, I don't understand how do they get them? I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand that either, Jennifer Ann. So Laura Taylor said, is it illegal to post your own children on social media if they are in foster care?
It is, and it violates confidentiality, which is held by the Minors Council while you're dealing with this mess. So you're not allowed to put pictures or talk about the case at all online. It's a problem because, the thinking is that they don't want the child in 5 years to have to be able to go back on and see themselves on social media.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's stupid. She's not posting a picture of her child naked. That's her child. I mean, she's still a mother.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Illegal? That doesn't make any damn sense.
It doesn't. No, I know. I agree.
So these rules that they set in place is to violate everybody's rights, but they're setting these damn rules in place, but that's violating your constitutional rights. She's still the mother.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's just bullshit. And Laura said it just now. Bullshit. That is bullshit. You and I said it at the same time. How it doesn't make any sense. What is your advice, Jennifer, for mothers who have their CPS case closed and they want to revisit it in family law right away? They were told that they have to wait 6 months after the case is closed. Is this correct?
No, it's not correct. There's no time minimum. What you need is a substantial change in circumstance. So, for example, you finished a 52-week batterers course. There's a move that needs to be made. Something large has happened. It just depends on how large it is. The change. You need to change in circumstance in order to take it back to family court.
Yeah, but what is an example change of circumstance? If the mother already's life is together, she has a job, she has a home, she has a car, she doesn't have a criminal record, she doesn't have a DUI. So what is exactly the change of circumstance? Exactly. What is it?
So it's dependent on what are you in the dependency for? So for example, if you're in for substance abuse and the case is dismissed, say custody is given primarily to the father, and because the mother didn't finish her substance abuse programming or had a relapse at the end, I don't know. So a major change in circumstance would be, testing clean for, proving that you can test clean for a significant amount of time. That's, or if you are a domestic violence, perpetrator, that if you finish your 52-week program, that's a change in circumstance. But everything is case specific. So I need a better example.
Okay. So what if the mother has none of that? No criminal record, no drug use, nothing. And it's just allegations from an ex-spouse, right? And that ex-spouse who is the abuser, who had a restraining order against them, say the restraining order lifted somehow, and they gave them the children. And the mother going back to court to change the custody status, correct? So the mother has no criminal record at all.
Okay, so hold on. So the thing is that, so we're talking about, when we're talking about going back to the family court, we're talking about changing or modifying the exit orders from juvenile court. Is that right? That's what we're talking about, right? Okay. So those exit orders are going to be based on the case and whatever allegations the court at that time found to be true. So just like with your guest earlier, who was having to deal with the ramifications of false allegations from 10 years ago, it's the same thing, is that, the exit orders from juvenile law, they're valid. And so you're not going to be able to challenge those on their face. You're going to have a change in circumstance, from the time of what was considered on the exit orders until you go back. But there's no time period. There's no 6-month rule. You can go whenever you have that change in circumstance.
Okay, because the court-appointed attorney told one of our callers today that I had communication with that she has to wait 6 months after the case is closed from juvenile dependency to open it in family law.
No, there's no such law.
Wow. Yeah, I told her I was going to ask someone in our office and get back with her. So I hope she's watching tonight, because that's her answer right there. So Nicole said, well, they went and got my babies from my sister because she called and told them, come get them. She couldn't handle it. And I did everything I could to keep my boys with family, and she wouldn't allow it. She took them to a foster home. That's what she is telling me anyways.
Well, why were they with her?
I have no idea. That's a good question. Nicole, Jennifer asked, why were they with her? There's a lot of stupid circumstances, Jennifer, Annie, that they just steal children, honestly, for just the dumbest shit. You know what I mean? It's just dumb.
Do.
It's like, I have a mother that left her kids with the grandma, until she went on vacation. She went to somewhere, Cancun or somewhere, and she told her mom she'll be gone for 1 week. She was in Cancun. Her mom took the kids to CPS and told them that my daughter abandoned the kids.
What?
Yeah. She has the ticket proof. She has the text message she sent her mother. She has her mother's text message back saying, it's okay, the kids are safe with me, go enjoy yourself. All of that is proof. And they still took the kids, kept the kids, Dcfs, and said that the mother abandoned the children. And that she failed to protect the kids.
That's terrible.
This is a true story, by the way.
I mean, what kind of grandma would do that,
I don't know. I don't know what's going on in the world, honestly. I mean, I don't know. But I have seen it. So oftentimes when I talk to people, I like to really know, to kind of see something in that, like she took snapshots of the text messages. She texted to me. I verified that's her mother's number. I mean, I literally spoke to her mother myself. And her mother said that she had a minor brain fart. She was tired of the kids. She didn't know what to do with it. So she took the kids left the kids with Dcfs, hoping that Dcfs will give the kids back to the mother when she gets back from Cancun, by saying that the mother abandoned them.
Well, I mean, I don't even know what to say about that.
Yeah, I don't know either. But that was the explanation I had from her mother. So that's it. But Dcfs, what I'm saying is, if they see evidence of the truth, shouldn't they actually see that the mother did nothing wrong?
Yes. Well, I mean, so it depends. I mean, in your hypothetical, if it's exactly like that, yes. I mean, there's even people who are going to be committed to jail have a right to have children, put in a placement of their choice. The case is called In Re Isaiah C, and it's out of Marin County. And in that case, the father, the child was going to be made dependent. The father was going to be going into custody for a year, and he had placed the kids with his mother.
Right.
And the social worker went, when they found out that he was in custody, they went to pick up the kids, and the mother said, no, I'm going to be taking care of him for the year. And the social worker said no. And the appellate court said, yes, she is. If a parent, as long as they're able to make you know, if they can't care for the kids, as long as they're able to put the kids into a good home, you know, good care, you know, particularly with a relative, then the CPS has no business getting involved if the kids are receiving good care.
Exactly. That's why they lie and manipulate the truth, right?
Yeah.
To say that there's not a good home. For example, they'll say there's a messy home or there's mice in the home. And I mean, I've seen pictures of home that's immaculate. And the social worker in the report says there's mice, there's rats, there's dead roaches. So the judges believe it, though. You know that, right? Judges just believe what the social worker says. Now, shouldn't judges ask for pictures, Jennifer, real quick? I know we're coming up toward the end of the show.
Yeah, I mean that's, you know, absolutely there has to be pictures. I mean, you know.
Okay, so but what have you witnessed in juvenile courts when the judge actually told the social worker, I want to see evidence, proof?
Well, I mean, social workers are, you know, the problem is they're testifying as officers of the court, you know. And so, you know, the parent can always provide their own pictures, you know.
Yeah, but right. Again, but they don't want to see the parents' pictures. The judge refuses. So the social workers are testifying as officers of the court. So basically, oh my God, they can say, basically, that's why they get away with it. That's why they get away with the lies. Right, Jennifer?
That's correct.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys for joining me today. Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on the show today. And I appreciate
You're most welcome.
I appreciate that. And again, Romero, thank you again, honey, for joining me. And we'll talk later. Romero, I have your information and you have mine. And we'll talk later. And again, have a great night, you guys, and God bless you all. Bye-bye.